I've been so many amazing places in the world, but I have never been to Mongolia. And yet we got to see the Mongolian leadership during the United Nations Environment Assembly present, and being engaged in the preparations towards the UNCCD COP in Mongolia is one of the most exciting things coming up this year, this wonderful new space. There are lots of things on the agenda there that are core to what we're doing. One of those, I think, is land restoration. They're talking about a land restoration day. What do you think is going to happen? How do we get engaged in that conversation, Anthony?
I think, quite a good question. I think when you talk about the rangelands, we talk about fragile ecosystems. We really need to think about how we are going to restore them, how we make them at least better to support livelihoods. They support a lot of pastoralists, people who need to be able to support themselves through what comes out of the rangelands. So I think it's going to be a very important conversation. We may not talk about land restoration in isolation without talking about soils, which is a very important range resource. Supports the biodiversity, supports the nutrients, a lot of climatic issues in terms of degradation. And once they are washed away, they are gone. And the climate issues really affect the issues of how now the pastoralists, now the fauna and the flora, how the animals, how the plants are able now to be able to support the plants and also now support the livelihood. So I think it's going to be a very important conversation looking at the entire ecosystem, how the soils, how we restore the lands. There are many issues about issues of conflicts, pressure on the land. And we don't need to look at the pastoral areas like marginalized. We need to look at them as support systems, the support of livelihoods.
Well, and where better to do that than Mongolia, that is a country made of rangelands and populated by pastoralists. Ian, you've been talking about the rangelands issue in a variety of the projects that we're doing. What do you think with this International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralism, how is that going to intersect with CCD?
Well, absolutely. I think it's quite an interesting time, especially looking ahead for COP17. So there's a lot of things that we can do to make sure that rangelands remain sustainable, and looking at it in the lenses of how it continues to support livelihoods, biodiversity, and all that spectrum around it. And also looking at it in the lens of how stakeholders, different players in different sectors, these are civil society, private sector, even the indigenous people, the youth, the women, how they can all be involved in this to create impact onto this, and also how they can be engaged in decision making, policy contributing to policies. Yeah, so it's an interesting year looking ahead, and it being International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists, it's perfect time to amplify these conversations.
It's so true. Maddie, you've been engaged in the pastoralism question for a while now. It's been a big run-up to get International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralism. It's something we worked on over a decade ago, and Mongolia was a real thought leader in calling for the year, and now they have COP17 in Ulaanbaatar at the same time. Feels like it's a perfect coming together. What do you think is going to happen with the pastoralist agenda during this particular moment?
Yeah, well, I think this COP is really special because it does link with the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. It builds on all of the really good work that Saudi Arabia did, as well as now Mongolia, and seeing their leadership from New York Climate Week and the UN General Assembly to UNEA to now. I think this year, and especially the COP, will be used to celebrate pastoralists and the role that they have in being stewards of the land, and also with their livestock, and as well as their market opportunities. And I think one thing to look out for at COP is really seeing, one, their celebration and their leadership in areas in rangelands or deserts that can't really cultivate crops but they can support livestock, as well as what can we do to make their linkages to markets better as a community and show the resiliency of pastoralists.
Truly, Mongolia came to an event that we were organizing. The minister spoke so eloquently about the importance of pastoralism and the extent to which they want that agenda. With a land restoration day in the works, I think it's a moment for all of the work we do across food systems to really culminate for these particular issues. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. As the Mongolian leadership said at our high-level dinner on resiliency at UNEA, they really said, and led by example, that resiliency is in our DNA, and we can look towards Mongolia and the pastoralists and their nomadic culture as a way to be resilient. And like face desertification, because it's intrinsic, it's in us, it's in these people and this culture that sustained us through generations. And as someone who moved to Kenya during a drought, you can see like how important it is to come behind all these people that have our solutions on how we can face drought, how livestock can regenerate land, and champion this.